Thanks for passing it over. Today I'm going to cover the three types of leaders that I see out in the world, especially in the real estate market. That's what I'm in every single day. Those three types of leaders are action leaders, language leaders, and connected leaders. And the one that we want to strive to be is a connected leader. So I'll end with that one because that's the one I'd like you to focus on. John Maxwell says, "A leader knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." And I love John Maxwell to death, and obviously he's got tons of success in his life and throughout his books. And one of the things that I would like to do here is challenge that statement. And I'm not challenging it by saying it's incorrect or challenging by saying that John Maxwell's wrong, because I'd be a fool to say that because of the amount of value that he's provided to the leadership world. But what I will say is leadership is much simpler than that. Leadership is simply going first. And there's many different ways that we can do that, but it doesn't require extreme qualifications, experiences, or expertise. And I think a lot of people get hung up on the fact that they can't be a leader because they don't feel advanced enough in life or far enough down the line or anywhere in between to be able to look back and say, there's people following me now. And so to break into the three types of leaders, the first one is an action leader. These people lead by example. They quote unquote show people the way. And a lot of times these people are offering servant leadership, which is a fantastic way to lead. This leader is very successful by showing what he does first, and then looking backwards and modeling it for those who choose to follow them. One of the biggest themes that I've seen in my podcasting career so far is being able to be the person that looks one step backwards and reaches out a hand and says, "Come with me," and teach that person who was where you were, get to where you are. And if that person surpasses you, that's perfectly fine. But you want to lead by action, this is the person you will be as an action leader. The second person, and this is a very, very common person that people understand or people that see, and that person is the language leader. This person directs people by speaking to them. Motivational, inspirational, a lot of like what we're doing right now. Speaking to people, hoping that it connects with somebody, hoping that, and I use the wrong word there because that's for the next person, but using language to be able to inspire you and bring you to a new place from where you were before you listened to them. Obviously, we'll see these often in speeches, persuasions. There's many of these positive leaders out there that are showing the way by speaking about what you should be doing. Now, a lot of times these people can be swayed in a wrong direction because they're simply speaking about what you should be doing. And a lot of times people will follow those words blindly, and it'll create bad paths for them because that's not the path that that person should have taken. But this leader's successful by people consuming their words, their speeches, etc., and having people take action based on what they say they should be doing. These people are rampant in the real estate market. There is a ton of people, both on the real estate and the lending side, that will often talk to you about, this is what I did, this is how the world works, this is what you need to do, and they're not even doing it anymore. This is something that they did 20 years ago and it worked for them then, and they continue to repeat because you continue to consume and you continue to buy as the consumer or as the person not actively in the market doing it. Which brings me to the one, as I said, we should all strive to be. This person is a connected leader. They are connected to their own purpose in life. They know what they want to do. They know how to get there simply because they listen to what is told to them on the next step. They're connecting with you, the listener or the follower, via stories and shared experiences and emotions. One of those people, or these are the people that you just get around and you just want to be around them and you don't know why. They just have that magnetic feeling of people you're drawn to. Ultimately, this leader is defined by being flexible, successful, utilizing the correct words at the correct time, as well as connecting to you as a person emotionally, spiritually, and sometimes even physically with a hug or a high five or a handshake. These people know when to do what they should be doing simply because they're listening to their purpose and what's guiding them to it. This person then is able to create action because of the guidance of your purpose. They will help you recognize your purpose. They will help you realize why you are here and what you're doing in whatever market you're in. This is the leader you have come to know the most. And so when John Maxwell puts that statement of a leader knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way, he's defining actually this person. When you look at just the words, you think he's either a language leader because he's giving a speech, or you think he's an action leader because he talks about knowing the way and going the way. But all of those words come back in and create John Maxwell as a connected leader. So it's really how you interpret those words. Now, as I said before, you don't have to be super qualified, you don't have to be super experienced, and you don't have to have a ton of expertise to actually display these qualities to an audience. The simple things that you need to do to start is, number one, connect to your purpose. And I know you've heard this before of know your why and know what's going on and, make sure that you're not operating outside of your why, and it all becomes cliche. But really what you should be doing when you're connecting to your purpose, and the process of being able to connect to that purpose, is just asking yourself why as many times as possible. And oftentimes I tell a story that revolves around having a six-pack. And this is actually a story from one of my mentors. And he talks about having a six-pack. I want to have a six-pack. Well, why do you want to have a six-pack? Because I want to look good. Well, why do I want to look good? Because I want my wife to want me in the bedroom. Well, why do you want that? Because I think that's part of a successful relationship. Well, why do you want that as part of a successful relationship? Because my family didn't represent that, and I want to represent that for my children as a positive, successful relationship. Now, do you think that making a model for your children and having a positive, successful relationship is more powerful than I want to have a six-pack? Because I do. If you're able to connect to that deeper purpose, everything else will clear the way and show you what your next step is. Now, if you're having a little bit trouble finding through that, that's okay. Ask yourself why, and sometimes you won't even know the answer, and that's okay. Just take a breather, go outside, get your feet on the ground. Literally, we call this grounding, and it is truly a way for you to transfer the earth from the energy into your body and be able to move forward with it. That energy is no joke. If you're able to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, you will absolutely notice a difference in your confidence, in your purpose, in your ability to literally step out and just go first, because you have more energy than you thought possible. Once you get those two things established, the third thing to do is to stop forcing things. Oftentimes we're doing things that we hate. We're doing things that we don't like to do, and it shows in the work. We're checking boxes, and we're just running through the numbers to make sure and say we called 50 people today, even though we did 0 of those calls with passion. This will change your life if you just sit back and start listening to your intuition. Your intuition will start telling you how to connect with people. Your intuition will tell you how or which people to connect with. This person, and I will tell you in firsthand experience, I was able to interview Bob Burg, one of the co-authors of The Go-Giver. This book has sold $1.2 million copies. I felt outclassed. I felt like I was in the wrong room. But my intuition told me to reach out to him and ask him to be on the podcast, and he said yes. So I would encourage you to sit back, listen to your intuition, and once it tells you to do something, act. The next thing I would encourage you to do to be able to become a leader and really start formulating that audience that will follow you is document your progress. It's as simple as that. I know that one of the speakers earlier mentioned about being afraid of getting on video. It's how we sound, it's how we look. Well, guess what? No matter if you're on video or you're in person, you sound and you look the same. And science and the bones in your head make you sound different to yourself, and that's okay. But simply document your progress. Document what you're doing on a daily basis. Record yourself meditating in the lawn. Record yourself standing on the ground. This seems goofy, but I'm doing it anyway. Do that. That will guide you to what your next step is. Just start doing and document when you're doing it so that the person that is where you were gets to where you are. And then the final thing is just the easiest piece in the world. And by doing this, we are going to simply change every person that we come across and leave them better off than what we met them at. And that's simply to smile. And smiling creates neurons in our brains. They're called mirror neurons. It's like when you yawn. and you yawn in a crowded room and you look around and then you see 15 other yawns go off in a row. And it's because the mirror neurons in your brain are signaling to your face that, oh, it's time to yawn. A smile does the same thing. So whether they respond with a smile or not, if you smile with your teeth, that person's mirror neurons will mirror that in their brain, and you will raise their level of happiness just a little bit. And now you've become a leader without ever having to step in front of anyone that you didn't think you'd step in front of, just simply somebody that you crossed paths with. So I would encourage you to try to be more connected to your purpose, which will guide you through the leadership path. Thanks for having me on tonight. Have a good evening.